Uh, my name is Margaret Ann Windsor. I'm saying that to give you some background so you know what I'm trying to tell you. A little bit of background on it. Uh, I'm listening this morning on CNN Morning. I forgot the name of it right at the moment, but the host is Como, and he was interviewing the ex-mayor, ex-FBI, Giuliano, excuse me, of New York, I believe. And if I'm wrong, today is the 18th of February, 2014. Someone can look it up. That's what I've been doing all my life, researching, telling all this mess, and getting the hell beat out of me. Uh, and by the way, let me insert this. I was given the name of Peggy Ann Dempsey. I married a Childers when I was kidnapped from Buckingham Palace. And no, this is not a joke. There's not 1 minute of it was a joke. I was brought to Moulton and given the name of a twin, Peggy Ann Dempsey. Uh, both twins, Carl and Peggy, were dead. They'd been killed by their mother. They were born out of wedlock. And I was brought there, I assume flown into Cortland Air Base there in Moulton, and taken to a pigsty to grow up and be told that I was illegitimate. In other words, I was given the dead twins' identity, and I didn't know my real name and about my kidnapping till 1983, the fall, after I'd been to Larry Flint's for political support in the campaign, and he wrote me up in Hustler, April of '84. And this one, well, this was in it, editorial, where he said I knew who was responsible for his shooting, and I do. It's one of the mind control murders. The person's programmed to shoot, and the wrong person pays for the crime, just like here, next door to me. I'm in Roanoke. At Virginia Tech here, the Fort Hood shooter was a psychiatrist who was born at Benton, Roanoke, and finished college at Blacksburg, Virginia Tech, which is right next door. And that was the Fort Hood shootings. And this was Aurora, Colorado. And, of course, with James Holmes, and, of course, there were others, a lot of other murders there, the Virginia Tech, the 33, where the young Korean student ended up shooting himself. And that's what happens to a lot of them in these type murders. They are programmed and to do the shooting and who to shoot and the time. It's so well, anyway, it's perfect. It's a perfect crime. The mind control is invisible. The only way you would know, I suppose, about it was done by mind control. Well, the psychiatrist should know to a degree, and you don't hear any of them speaking. And you've got Nancy Grace, and maybe I'm getting off the subject a minute, and I may lose half of you if anybody's watching, but she was there during the Wayne Williams, or right after. Slayton, the district attorney, Fulton County district attorney, and yes, I've been there, and yes, he saw me, and yes, his assistant DA said they would see me again, and Slayton was standing, leaning up against the door. And Nancy Grace was the best friend, yet she tells nothing about this, nothing about mind control murders. The media is so corrupt, and before I lose it, I'm going to jump back here. I was kidnapped and given another name, and I want to say this before I go any further. There are people who have condemned Larry Flint. Well, he at least he told the truth about a whole lot, and he suffered a lot, too. He was shut up in Butner Federal Prison in North Carolina and for telling the truth, and his power of attorney and his magazine taken. Now then, here are the people that you think are so many people look up to. Look at this. By the way, that's Elizabeth with her back, looking at who people think is just a great lady, and here's William. And here's the baby, George. They had the gall to name him after their, Elizabeth's Elizabeth's father, George the Sixth, illegal, the man who helped take down his own brother, Edward the Eighth, my father, and helped the Kennedys, the Rothschilds, Rockefellers, Roosevelt, and especially the Kennedys. Joe Kennedy was ambassador during that time when they took down my father and they kidnapped me, 36 to 46. These people have stolen, they've kidnapped, they've given away, they're traitors. And she's spending my money while I've lived, and my two sons, who are the heirs, have lived in hell. Now look how happy they are. And it seems to be all right with everybody. It seems okay with everybody. The Hastings are serving, they're dead. Their daughter, Elizabeth, and German diplomat son. I mean, his father, I think, is still alive, Ian Zorings. He's no longer a diplomat, but at the time he was. He's locked up in Buckingham in Dillwyn, Virginia, state prison, and for the murder of Nancy's parents, Elizabeth's parents. I hope you bear with me, because during the night I've been gassed. They talk about, and if this sounds rambling, we'll listen to it. Maybe you'll put it together like I've had to and live through the mess, because you should be listening. They were talking this morning, Kumo, and he was ex-FBI, Giuliano of New York, and mayor, and he ran for president. And they were talking this morning about whether the United States should go in and take out Syrian leader Assad. And then they followed up, they should go in like they went in and took out Saddam Hussein. You want me to make you a list of who they put in there? I should have had it written down, but I've got so much, and I have been soaked in the night with chemicals, and it doesn't do me any good to say anything, because you got the Virginia State Trooper Carl Barton's wife taking me to a place, Affordable Corporate Suites on off Starkey Road in, this is what it did to me during the night. But they took me there, and they paid a deposit for me. I paid the next 17 months living in hell, and his wife said to me, she turned her away and left. This is a Virginia State Trooper, retired. She said, that's how we move you, by using chemicals on you. Well, you see, I know that, but I'm not allowed to say it. I've been made to where my word is nothing. I can't even say my name. I can't complain if someone breaks the law against me. I call the cops, they'll lock me up, and you better believe it, I can't even breathe. So last night, again, I can't hear hardly, they had to have some kind of nerve gas, because my arms are dead, and the fumes have always been, but supposedly they changed hands of this motel where I've had to live over a year now. I trust the Germans and the Brits, and I knew I was supposed to come here only after I got here, January the 12th of last year. It's not the Germans I mistrust. Supposedly, the owners changed hands, and Sonny Patel owns it, is what they're saying. So I've been done in by Sonny Patel's bunch. He come over from India, and they own just about everything in Roanoke, motel-wise, and communication out of Charlotte, North Carolina, and they've done quite well since they've come to America. And back in '94, when I couldn't get jobs anymore when I came up here. I came up here and camped and froze and starved on the Appalachian Trail and got run from there. But I think this